Hello, welcome to Active Baking. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make my vegan Jaffa cake mousse slices. So this video will be for my vegan Jaffa cake mousse slices. This video is part of a series of videos I'm doing called season specials. So each season I'm choosing an ingredient typically associated with it and then coming up with some recipes for it. So for winter I've chosen chocolate and this is my first recipe for that. This video will be structured into 3 parts. So firstly we start off with the vegan sponge that goes at the bottom of our slices, then the orange jelly or jam, and then finally the chocolate mousse to go on top. If you like this video or you'd like to see more recipes like it in the future, please make sure that you like and subscribe. If you do make this recipe and you'd like to let me know how it goes, please let me know in the comments section below. Let's get started. Before you start making your sponge, you need to preheat your oven to 160 degrees Celsius for a conventional oven and 140 degrees Celsius for a fan oven. To make the vegan sponge, you will need 150 grams of a plant-based margarine, 200 grams of self-raising flour, 110 grams of caster sugar, a pinch of table salt, 1 teaspoon of white wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, 50 milliliters of a plant-based milk, I'm using soya milk, 60 milliliters of vegetable oil, 1/4 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Before preparing your sponge ingredients, you will need to line a 7" by 7" brownie tin with baking paper. The first 2 ingredients that you'll need to combine for the sponge are the margarine and the sugar. You'll need an electric hand whisk, Now that the margarine and sugar are light and fluffy, we can add our wet ingredients. This includes our vegetable oil, our plant-based milk, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of white wine vinegar. And then again, we use the hand whisk to combine. Lastly, we add our remaining dry ingredients, which includes our self-raising flour, our bicarbonate of soda and baking powder, and our pinch of salt. And once again, we use our electric whisk to mix it all together until it resembles a sponge batter. Once you have made your sponge batter, you can then scrape it into your lined brownie tin. You might find that the batter is a little firm, which is absolutely fine. We'll spread it around to make sure that it's even. This is the bit I find a little bit tricky, is spreading it around without the baking paper moving. If anyone has any tips or tricks on how to do this, please let me know in the comments below so I can make my life a little bit easier for myself. Now that we have put the sponge mixture into the brownie tin, we can place it in the oven. It will need to bake for around 25 minutes or until you can put a skewer through in several different places and no raw batter comes out on it. The second part of making our Jaffa cake bars is to prepare the orange jelly. You will need 300 grams of jam sugar and then the grated zest of 2 oranges and the juice of 5 large oranges or 6 medium to small oranges. You will need to heat the orange juice and the jam sugar in a medium-sized saucepan, and then heat it, but keep it on a low heat to begin with. You will then use a spatula. I definitely recommend using a tool that's made of rubber, just because it's much easier to work with when sugar gets very hot. So you'll just need to stir it continuously until the sugar has melted. Once the sugar is melted, you'll notice that the mixture will start to bubble at the edges of the pan. At this point, you'll need to increase the heat ever so slightly. Jam starts to bubble. As the jam mixture starts to boil, you'll notice that it becomes very frothy and will start to rise up. This could be by about an inch, so you do need to make sure that when you put all the ingredients in the pan, that it's at least an inch of pan kind of left there for it to rise. We would need it to simmer for around 8 minutes. You may need to turn the heat down if you notice that it does rise too high, because it will happen very quickly. So it's also important to not leave it abandoned at any point. Make sure you're always with the pan, and then reduce the heat if needed, but make sure that you do stir occasionally just to stop it from sticking to the pan and burning. Now that our jam mixture has been simmering, I can feel that it's definitely got a lot thicker. So I'm going to turn off the heat, allow the bubbles to calm down, and then just stir it as it cools. And then we're going to remove it from the heat to cool for about 20 minutes, making sure you stir occasionally as well so it doesn't set completely. Now that our jam has cooled, we're going to pour it on top of our cake mixture. And just spread it around so there is a nice even layer. And now you put this in the fridge to chill until the jam has set. This could take 30 minutes, an hour, it will completely depend. The final part to making our vegan Jaffa cake mousse bars is the chocolate mousse to go on top. So you will need approximately 170 grams of vegan chocolate, 100 grams of unrefined caster sugar, and a tin of chickpeas. The tin that I have here is approximately 400 grams. To start making our mousse, you will need to drain your chickpeas. So chickpeas, when they are in water, this mixture then, or this liquid then becomes what's known as aquafaba, and this is what we need for the mousse. So we're just gonna put that through a sieve. And then set aside the chickpeas. You can then use them for a curry or hummus, whatever you like. We now need to whisk the aquafaba until it becomes frothy, bubbly, but holds its shape like you would with a meringue. So we're now going to add our sugar and continue to whisk. Our next step is to melt our vegan chocolate. I like to do this in a microwave for about a minute, making sure I take it out every 15 seconds and stir it with a spoon. Now that we have melted our chocolate, we're just going to pour this in. I'd do it probably half and half, so pour half of the chocolate in, and then we're just going to fold it in to our mixture. Now that our orange jelly has cooled, we are going to pour the mousse on top. Allow that to spread out to the edges. And now we can put this in the fridge to set for around 5 to 8 hours. I like to leave mine overnight and cut it up the next morning. I have now left my Jaffa cake mousse bars overnight to chill, and you can see that when I shake it, there is barely any movement, and that's what we want. To remove it from its tin, what I like to do is have a cooling rack or a wire rack, put some foil or just something underneath it just in case there's any mess. So you may have a few loose corners, so it's alright to just go down the edge with a knife just to separate it from the tin. Perfect. And if we just take two ends and just slowly lift and place down to the surface. Perfect. Okay. And now we can slowly peel You may need to tidy it up a bit by just going along the edge, getting any excess mousse. And now we can cut it into 9 equal squares. Thank you for watching this video. You can find the link to my recipe in the description below. If you would like to see more videos like this in the future, more chocolate recipes, then please make sure that you like this video and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram @activebaking, which is all one word, and this is where I post regular updates of what I'm baking and also my recipes. In my next video, I will be doing another one of my chocolate recipes, which I'll be announcing on my Instagram the day before. I usually release my recipes on a Sunday, so I usually announce what I'm going to be releasing on the Saturday, so keep an eye out. Thank you again for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.